Welcome aboard the SES Idolator, our new cruiser-class ship, lost in another universe. We had to build this ship in response to an interstellar war that kicked off. We may or may not have been complicit in that. But you would have to see the other episode to understand the intricacies of our part in that war. We are heading north to find a remnant artifact. We have been on the trail now for, I believe, an episode and a half. For me, it's been about 6 hours of gameplay, and we are yet to find it. But, arriving in this system, it seems we have some contacts and a flinger out. So let's have a look. It appears to be a space station up ahead, a neutral one. Attention! You are approaching the domain of the Sepharial. We do not recognize your vessel. Entry is not permitted. Depart immediately. Who or what you are is of no concern. All minor life forms are as one to us. We will not occupy our thoughts to learn your taxonomy. Only Sepharial and Trade Guild envoy ships are permitted. You will not receive another warning if you linger. Six-eyed. We have heard about the Sepharial. I believe they are the closest link to the fallen empire. We've heard about them being separate to the empire, I think I heard. But yeah, we are piecing together the puzzle. Yeah, well, you have been warned. Okay, so I dare not enter that flinger. In fact, I also dare not enter any of the planet's atmospheres. Let's go Sepharial. I think these guys, yeah, like I said, are the closest link to the fallen empire. Are these guys the remnants that we've heard about? So-called remnants of the fallen empire? There is some conjecture that the remnants were earlier than the empire, but like I said, I'm still trying to piece together the lore. We are collecting the puzzle pieces and then slowly piecing them together. There's a guild envoy over here. We are on good terms with the guild. Hopefully they can help us. Greetings, Commander Chadicus. As a special guild envoy to Sepharial, I am compelled to alert you that you are approaching Sepharial space. Who or what is the Sepharial? I'm not permitted to divulge the information, but I can reveal that while Venerator has developed a formidable reputation, they are far more powerful than you or any other power we have seen. We are but insects in brightly coloured hulls. The guild prefers its members not to conduct any business unofficially, but as I have been Sepharial envoy for 1,000 cycles without advancement, I could be persuaded to risk reprimand for a substantial consulting fee. I would only discuss guild-approved topics, of course. Let's try and get his price down. You strike me as an honourable species. For 40 iridium, that is my lowest fee. I have deactivated my ship's recorder for your privacy. Now, regarding the Sepharial, we know that they have existed since at least the early days of the Empire, if not much longer. Supposedly, they were on the path to advancement that would lead them to rival the remnants. Instead, they decided that they had reached their perfect state and chose to remain unchanged. The known facts are, I did not exaggerate their powers. We have seen them vaporize a fleet of enthusiastic devout missionaries in a moment. They are uninterested in civilizations outside their tiny sphere, save for the occasional request for specific remnant artifacts. For this reason alone, they maintain contact with the guild. Even this curiosity is fleeting. I delivered a Telonian fragment to them 100 cycles ago, and last I visited, they had yet to even open the container. In conclusion, do not waste your time here. You will end up dead. They requested to see an example of one of these fragments. They paid in advance. When I delivered it, they seemed to have already lost interest. It is difficult to tell with them. I partly suspect they never wanted it at all. They simply find it amusing to wave their infinite wealth and power in front of me. So could you take it for us? In theory, they take little notice of my visits unless they have some demand, which is quite rare. But such a theft would carry great risk, and who would I sell it to? I would need a sum of iridium that I could retreat to a distant system and live like a guild master. It is such a fantasy that I have not even contemplated the price. 200 iridium? Blah! Non-negotiable half up front. No. No, sorry, that is very expensive. Very expensive. But he said something interesting. He said that they'd barely take any notice of him, and that only guild-approved ships are available to enter the space. Now, the missions have seemed pretty dynamic, and there have been some cool ways to solve them. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this ship, and we are going to attempt some subterfuge. I'm taking a screenshot of the ship, and I'm going to attempt to replicate this ship. It seems like a pretty easy build. Just some hull, some bulkheads, wings, 4 engines, 1 gun, I believe, battery, a sensor. Yeah, I'm going to attempt to enter their space looking like their ship. This game seems to reward ingenuity, so let's give it a shot. And there's nothing else to notice in this space, so let's head back to Solano. Yeah, don't approach any further. The last thing we need to be is vaporized by a extremely powerful civilization. It's going to take a while to get home. Alright, we have arrived back at the Solano. And we have to go to the shipyard, but I want to speak to Commander Dobson, or Dolson, in the Alethea. She has lots of useful information. The other ship here lost in another universe. After your report regarding your actions with the Nemoan, Commodore Yu sent us to make more formal diplomatic contact with them. They were most impressed with Venerator's combat performance, and they've given us a gift. Alright, what? We found an item, but we want to know about the Sepharial. Okay, so there's an illustration attributed to the Devout that looks like the Star Lance, but I think it was actually this item. There were some equations associated with the illustration. We thought it might be more gateway coordinates, but Rama said no. Okay, the Sepharial, they were a powerful civilization as old as the Empire, but perhaps not as powerful. They also were not as dependent on remnant artifacts. They are a visually focused race, and they apparently deem themselves capable of judging the capabilities of another species just by glancing at their vessels. An old imperial proverb states, 6 eyes is not enough to see through your own arrogance. Probably a reference to them. Yeah, so there's been some clues stating that we might have the opportunity to sneak into their space. So let's try it. Let's head to the shipyard. Going to increase the power of our Havocs. Our missile defense system. We have to speak to Milton. More resources from our mine that we set up in, I think, the 2nd episode. So I've got myself my reference photo, and we have to build ourselves a scout ship that looks similar to the guild ship. So we need a triple bulkhead, 2 double bulkheads. Those are too close to the cockpit. We will need to move them down a section. I will put my reference photo up so you can see it. Then we need some wings. We need all the utilities and 4 engines. So I need a scanner. We need a gun. A Mark 1 plasma. A battery. And a power plant. Then we need to fill it with armor. Half deflectors. And 1 on the front for good luck. Then we need 4 engines, Mark 1. Oh, it's going to take a very long time to get back to that system. And we will be in extreme danger while we do so, putting the lander on the front to match our photo. And then I think we should match their color scheme. Yellow The Sepharial disguise. And I need to change the secondary color as well. So what do you think? Do you think they will fall for it? It's a bit garish in its yellow. Alright, I think we're set. What's the worst that can happen? We could be disintegrated and at least we wouldn't feel it. I'm going to test it on this guy. Will he notice? If he notices, I will be okay with doing this. If he doesn't notice, then I'll just load it again and come back in the Idolator and shoot them all to death. Or try to. Ooh, the yellow's a bit off. And we are smaller. Despite using all the same pieces. I don't know about this. So yeah, there's only one way to find out. I don't know what you're playing at, but the guild considers our ship's distinctive colors and shapes to be trademarked. Good. He noticed. But will the Fallen Empire notice? Or whatever they are, the Sepharial. Super powerful. Isolationist empire. Will they be arrogant? Let's find out. If you think this is a good idea, hit the like button and hit subscribe and see if we can survive. Greetings, Guild Envoy. Oh, he fell for it. The yellow's a bit off, but his 6 eyes couldn't discern the shade. He didn't care to look at us. They're so beneath us. The emissary is here. That'll give us a quick escape if this goes wrong. Here comes one of their warships. Lieutenant Mark Glees is like, there's no way this works. Okay, proceed to your assigned docking station on Sepharial. The Sepharial seem very dismissive of other races. I give it 1 chance in 3. Well, Triton gives us odds of 33%. Their warships look pretty hardcore. The starbases don't look too strong. But they have a few modules on them that I've never recognized, and they have a multicolored comet that shoots through randomly. I wonder if that's just so that they can feel happy. They've harnessed a comet just to decorate the star system. Moving onwards. This looks like the home world. Terrestrial large planet with a ring around it. Upon entering the planet's atmosphere, the team has little choice on landing sites as an invisible tractor beam guides the surveyor down. From their constrained perspective, they are able to admire the alabaster floating islands. Hopes of exploring the incredible city are dashed as it becomes clear that they have been guided to an underground opening. The lander is set down in a Spartan holding area containing discarded containers. There is one unopened container, and inside was a brass fragment. Another one. Despite limited access, our analysis of Sepharial structures show similarities with Fallen Empire. They may have diverged from a common point long ago. Commander's log, advanced civilization, the Sepharial may be a distant cousin of the remnants. Our subterfuge is complete. We're going to make our way out of this dangerous space and head back to Solano to transfer back aboard the Idolator. Partially holographic, suggesting information may be stored within. Let's get our armor back on. We want the Idolator Mark 1. We also need to change the paint back before we get done for trademark infringement. We earned quite a lot of science, so we're spending that on the Havoc. Make it the best defense system ever. Back aboard the Idolator. On our way to a trade world. The Devout ships are starting to get very beefy. Makes me feel much better about my decision to build a cruiser. But my lust for power means that I must have a bigger ship. We need to drop off this Imperial Flora Blight. I've been meaning to do it for so long. We need to deliver the new life form to administration so they can grow their own food. This is a wonderful development. Our food situation has relied too heavily on traders who would often demand unreasonable prices. We will incentivize merchants to give you a better price. And a much better price indeed. They sell for platinum. After some finesse, we've got etherin, xenium, and adamantine for aluminium and copper. I may sell the silver as well. It doesn't seem to have any use for components. Alright, so we are getting what we need to build another starship. The largest starship we can afford, the Dreadnought. And we're walking away from this even. At the cost of 4 platinum, we get all that. Captain Dawson has given us access to the Starlance equation. They want me to move on with the mission. But I want to build a Dreadnought before we activate the Starlance, because I just have a feeling that's signaling the next chapter of our fight against the Devout. A patch dropped today, and they've unlocked a new hull type, the Saucer Hull, which is a little bit cheaper than the Dreadnought. The Saucer Hull seems like it's useful for captains who don't know how to budget their resources. But we're going all in on the Dreadnought hull. Oh no, we need more etherin and adamantine. No! Another foray out to the trade worlds. We also can't leave till we talk to Dr. Rama. Captain Dawson alerted me about the developments regarding the so-called Starlance. I have obviously not had time to examine the results of the most recent research, but at a glance, they are promising. Your team observed that the structure has some similarities to our wormhole stabilizers. It is Commodore U's hope that activating it will reopen the connection back to our own universe. Yeah, so as if that's not the next chapter, reopening the wormhole. That is our primary mission, to try and get back to the Milky Way galaxy. But looking at the equations for the artifact in a new light, they seem to be odd. It may simply be our limited understanding of remnant technology, but I would urge caution. Venerator has exceeded my expectations. It's more of a H-bar, but you and your crew have made useful contributions to our understanding of this universe. Ever condescending, but we need adamantine and etherin before we can even think about activating that Starlance. The cruiser is powerful, but I have devious plans to double that firepower. Let's test the cruiser's ability to collect resources. With its double Havoc launcher, it should make short work of this asteroid field. And then we will move on to the rare components fields and the so-called Talion chariot, which has lots of really rare stuff floating about in debris fields. A little bit of trading. Terrible prices, but they sell for aluminium, so it is easy to acquire their currency. Few more fields to clear. Right, here's the so-called half chariot. There aren't many things to collect here, but when you do find something, it is high value, and you're constantly attacked by really weak enemies, so you can collect their resources too. We ran into some debris, we picked up some xenium and a drive instrument, so we are finding artifacts out here too. Some of these containers are very strong, and they contain nothing. More xenium, more titanium. We found a stone skull. This creature had a very unusual biology, probably evolving in a low-gravity environment. A drive instrument? A key component in a drive system that uses ephemeral wormholes. Okay, so that place I collected those from the asteroid field may have been a smashed planet. We are far to the galactic east. We found a trade guild supply depot, but their prices weren't any better. Several millennia ago, this planet-wide gigapolis was a monumental feat of engineering. Any records were erased long ago, although Lieutenant Triton notes that the civilization was clearly spacefaring and certainly had the means to leave the planet. Whoever they were extremely thorough in extracting all useful technology. There's nothing there to find. Ooh, a super rare type of star. When we first discovered the star lance, this is what we were actually looking for. A multimodal Cepheid randomly changing star. So it has different luminosities, depending on what phase it's in. It is a true multimodal dwarf Cepheid. Whatever Dr. Rama was hoping to find when we ended up discovering the star lance. That's correct. Well done, Cassie. You remember our history. The system itself is pretty unremarkable, but I do like that. Very beautiful. Ah, my eyes! Blinded! Let's see if we can decrease our level of condescension with Dr. Rama, a true multimodal dwarf Cepheid. The kind of internal dynamics needed to produce these oscillations must be of the highest order of complexity. A worthwhile discovery. I look forward to spending time with their equation when time allows. So we earned ourselves one personal question. Since you've discovered some tantalizing data, despite the Commodore's discouragement of actual silence, I will allow one question, non-technical, non-mission sensitive in nature. What does your augmentation do? It is standard NL Research Systems interface. It allows me to directly perceive and control the lab's research computers. It looks different from other C-Series NL interfaces because its luminous color emission. A previous superior suggested that since I failed to demonstrate an appropriate range of positive facial indicators, I should modify it to let him know what I was feeling. Pale blue indicates patient annoyance. What are the other colors? There are no other colors. Alright. Let's go. Oh, there's a pirate fleet here about to engage the Devout. They have tragic prices and no adamantine. I have a few other resources I need because I've built my ship now. I have it designed, we just can't build it because we need all of the resources to do so. So we're in a bit of a... Oops, we hit the pirates. Sorry about that. Actually, you know what? I'm not sorry about that. Oh, they've gone hostile. They didn't like that. We paid you for peace. What more do you need? An apology? Oh, how about you just die? You are a proven source of much needed resources for the Venerator. And if we are going to be stuck here in this universe, I would prefer it to be absent of pirates. And we won't get into the specifics of whether this is actually their culture or not. But we have quite a few contenders here. The angled armor of the new Idolator cruiser is extremely resilient to their cannon fire. Oh, except when they launch cannonballs into my rear. That just took out 4 engines. Oh dear. Havoc defenses are deployed. So as long as we keep our armor angled, we should be fine. Those deflectors working a treat. The triangle shape does remove some of the utility of what we can fill the ship with. But as long as you're smart with your placement, you can get quite a lot into an unusual shape. You should see the Dreadnought, which we take this idea and expand on it. Our cruiser is approximately 100... Whoa, we've been shot into the finger. 105 hexes of power. We have contacted all the bros that we know. We are pulling in all the favors. We are ruining our credit. The prices of the galactic market are going up as we siphon in all the most expensive stuff. I introduced to you the Dactor. Now, didactic means to teach someone with a little bit too much energy. You know, you're a little bit condescending in the way you teach. and I've named her the Didactor because we are going to teach a few of the races that thought we were just a little puny Terran scout ship a lesson, namely the Devout, the Kernan, the Pirates. Anyone else that gets in our way is going to suffer the wrath of the Didactor. They will learn a lesson. We are armed with 6 Mark II plasmas. We have 8 missile launchers. We have 10 power plants. We have 2 Havoc launchers. We have 4 Mark II fixed plasmas. We have 10 of the Mark II engines. We have them set up in engine nacelles on the wings, as well as 8 there on the rear. We have perfected the thermal dynamics of this ship. It could be a little bit more optimized in terms of space used for thermals, because the exposed vents do cost a lot of hexes, but they have a great effect on the thermal dynamics. We have 2 Mark 1 lasers on each wing. We are a powerhouse that's going to teach everyone a lesson. Let's head down to unexplored space. Our first mission in the Didactor is to find a trade guild ship that is lost. A little bit of overkill, I think, but we have arrived in the system, and there is some technology or a debris field right here. The perfect place to test our new weapon systems. In terms of plasma turrets, we have the same amount as the Idolator, and the plasma turrets have now moved to a secondary role where they're just for point defense or anything that gets within our kill zone. We still have 2 Havocs, it's the same firepower as the Idolator, but the addition of the 4 Mark II fixed lasers on the front gives her real capital killing power, and our laser systems, which I haven't seen, here we go. Oh, actually, it's a target vessel. It's been stripped of most of its useful materials. Its computer logs are encrypted, but Lieutenant Glees delves into them. Into the devotion we travel with fear to learn the true secrets of the remnants. And thus they end. That was very lucky, actually, because I could have killed the mission then by destroying that ship. Let's set that to auto fire for the plasma cannons, smart for the fixed guns. Smart fire will only fire the fixed guns when they have a target, so you don't waste that precious energy. Now this ship creates more energy than it uses, even at peak draw. So unless our generators are damaged, then we should always have the energy to fight. Our generators are mostly protected behind a citadel of bunkers, nestled firmly behind the bridge. Got another derelict ship. This one is a pirate ship. Another stripped vessel with an intact bridge. Repeat, the Pure Hive do not need our protection, nor will they sell protection. Business not very good in this region. Repeat. Oh, poor pirates trying to buy and sell protection. That appears to be their culture, not piracy per se. Just someone needs to be protecting someone from something, even if it's you. They must have grown up on a planet that was very scary, and they needed friends. It's not looking good. Flank attackers and cover the Guildmaster's retreat. Concentrate fire on the fast ships. To any future recovery team, demand at least thrice payment for future jobs in this area. That's the 2nd Legion ships. They're the guys that protect the trade guild. It is statistically implausible that these ships were all disabled fighting each other in a single engagement. The damage patterns are too consistent with plasma fire. Okay, so we're looking for someone that's killing ships. Could this be the home of that Reaper thing? Those Reapers in the Dark Void, they don't discriminate. That planet doesn't have rings, but okay. We found the Guildmaster's protection, but we didn't find the Guildmaster and his convoy, so we need to keep searching. Arriving at a yellow star with a couple of flingers. No sign of hostile craft. No sign of anomalies either. Yep, nothing. Let's move on. The mystery deepens. We're now in the southeast section of the galaxy. That's somewhere we haven't explored. Alright, we have contacts on the scanner. 4 of them. They appear to be warships. Intruding vessel. We have no record of your species, federation, or culture. This is therefore our first meeting, and you do not know our customs. Allow me to explain, says the giant cockroach. Okay, go ahead. He's a drone lord. This space is under exclusive control of the Pure Hive. We do not need pollution from your belief system, whether that be religious, free trade, quest for knowledge, or some sort of mutual defense baloney. From experience, we have learned that simple words fail to convey our sincerity. To avoid this misunderstanding, we have adopted a new communication protocol. We will destroy your ship and leave the fragments of it near the mysterious space circlet. We were here investigating someone dying. Well, we probably happened to it. Did you see parts of it when you arrived? In either case, we cannot let you leave. It would only encourage others to expect an exception. Well, I'm not going to be threatened by a space cockroach, but we're going to give them an opportunity to let us leave. Yeah, those guys were a bit of a challenge. We chased them across several sectors and eventually managed to crack their shields. They were forced to retreat into the void, and I imagine they're dead. Alright, he's letting us leave because we convinced him that if we get killed, there'll be more ships looking for us and so on, so forth. But he did... Oh, don't shoot the lasers at him! I am bending the rules quite a bit by not killing you right now, said the drone lord. Turn that off. Put that back to manual. Start a galactic war between the giant cockroaches. Commander's log, we just met a space cockroach, and we could have taken him. It's a classic example of we could have taken him, but we choose to be the better man. We choose to be a man and not be a cockroach. And anyone that knows my channel would know that it takes an extreme amount of control for me to not want to kill the bug on sight, because the only good bug is a dead bug. The rough terrain is dotted with semi-permanent mining structures. Sensors reveal them to be surface components of a deep ore mining complex. The miners are insects. Oh no. Are you bringing the new exchanger or new excuses? Without it, we can't harvest more than 100 kilograms of ore without half of us dying. The heat exchanger, that's what we need. As explained, it's 173 degrees down here. I assume you didn't care about us dying part. A ship was here 2 cycles ago. I think they said they were with some kind of trade group. At least they traded with us some decent computer systems. Well, give it to me. I need it. If you bring us a decent exchanger, I'll give you the system and 5 crystals of diberyllium. We have a confirmed sighting of the trade group, Whisker Mugs here. But I'm not keen to venture further into their space just yet in case we kick off more war. So let's proceed with our main objective, which is to activate the Star Lance. One thing I've learned playing this game, if you see the emissary ever, jump into his portal because it takes you somewhere cool. Alright, a new region of space. We've got a nebula to the southwest. A terrestrial planet that we can survey. The exceptionally strong anomaly signal is a pristine metal spire embedded in a shallow bay. After examining it, we get some resources. A fragment of remnant manufacture. This one is just resources again, I believe. I've seen this one a few times. Yeah, yttrium. Scan up these planets and then head down into that nebula. The Explorer class ship that we had was very fast, but our new Dactor is no slouch. She's able to reach 200 plus in the void. So I'm very happy with that. I want to get the Mark III engines and see how much more power we can put behind her. Arriving in the nebula. And we have an asteroid field. An automated defender. There is a continuous signal between the weapons platform and the desert planet below. Does that mean we kill it, something will happen? Let's just ram it. Oh! Wait, it's spawned again. Ram it! Okay. Well, we just found a new resource mine. If it keeps coming back, we could farm this all day. We can't investigate the planet while it's firing at us. Alright, so I've been doing this for a while now. We've collected lots of resources, but the team have kindly let me know that if we shoot off the turrets, we should be able to board the station. My violent nature, I probably would never have found that out. But fortunately, our lasers are very good at picking off modules. One more, which should be enough. Oh, we've got a missile turret too. This side as well? Is that enough? Yes, we can enter. The automated station has a gleamingly clean bridge with high-resolution displays showing current combat status and tactical information of the local area. A few deck plates have been knocked about, but considering the damage that Venerator has delivered to the structure, it's surprisingly intact. An examination of the communication system shows the station is in a continuous dead man's switch relay with the planet. If the station's weapon systems detect an intruder or the station is destroyed, the planetary defense systems are activated, which apparently includes instantly sending a reinforcement. Okay, let's try and disable it. Cygnus Lee tries to trick the system by altering the signal to trick the planet defenses into thinking Venerator has departed. An alarm sounds, and it explodes as we get back aboard the ship. So again, we're shooting off all the weapons. Better be good on the planet. It's an identical copy of the previous station. Only minor damage effects of Venerator's weapons set them apart. After patiently examining the station's system, Cygnus Lee realizes that the failsafe, while almost impossible to hack, is modular and not specific to the platform. By simply removing it and transporting it to the surveyor, the planetary defenses will think Venerator is the defense platform. Now we just have to kill it, I think. Strip off its arms, try and find that power plant. Heading down to the planet. The source of the planet's defenses is an enormous underground facility with small surface projection point. Lieutenant Glees notes that it is similar in design to Seleno's own shipyard fabrication system, but larger. Further investigation of the interior reveals that it must have been part of a large-scale weapons production effort, perhaps for some ancient war. Newly fabricated systems were likely transported to the front as quickly as they were made. Apparently someone forgot to turn it off. Well, that was an interesting little diversion. Let's head to the Starlands. Oh, hello. I don't think the Devout have seen our new ship. Let's us introduce it. Let us show them its features. Anything that makes it through the field of Havoc defense is instantly carved up by the lasers. I had a revelation a little while ago, and I am concerned about this Starlance. I had a good look at it, and I might be crazy, but it seems to be pointing at our system, where Seleno is currently residing. And so I am concerned that this thing is a weapon of some description. This gargantuan megastructure envelops a dwarf star with mass slightly higher than Jupiter's. We activate it, and there is a sudden surge of directed energy. Oh shit! Significant change in the star's neutrino flux, as well as a drop across the EM spectrum. That's a fucking weapon. Did that just shoot a gamma cloud? Like that thing I saw on the internet once about big wave of energy that just travels across the universe, sterilizing planets? Or we just sucked that star dry. It's a dead star now. What have we done? I am racing back home because I am terrified that I just blew up Solano. Oh, she's still there, thankfully. That doesn't mean the station is not sterilized of life. Let's have a look. I was slightly wrong. It wasn't aimed at our system, it was aimed slightly off, where the polyhedral artifact was. Which was an artifact we activated in the very first episode. I said it was a Starseeder. Whoa, there's a wormhole there now. That's the wormhole we came through, I think, to get here. Are we going home? Well, we should have thought about that a little bit better. It doesn't appear to be. It doesn't look like home. At least the wormhole remains. We are in a dense, hot universe whose cosmological constants are very different from our own. Whoa. That's a big sun. Oof, we just got hit by some debris. Supermassive star has cleared a small region of space that the Venerator can survive in. Further out, the radiation will destroy the hull. Closer in, the star will cook us. Getting hit by any of the debris would be a bad idea too. Okay. This planet was formed from ejecta out of the nearby superstar and will likely fall back in. In the meantime, the team has time to collect some valuable resources. Yellow supermassive star. I could be wrong, but I think that supermassive stars are usually found in new universes. Young universes. But I could be mistaken. I'm no astrophysicist. This star has over 2.5 million solar masses. We've never seen anything close to its size in our own universe. The Devout are here. Like I said, I'm no astrophysicist, but from my casual reading, I'm pretty sure that a young galaxy will have large, overpowered stars that are prone to going supernova, and when they do, that then seeds the next generation of stars and often forms a nebula. But, you know, I could be completely wrong. If you are an astrophysicist, feel free to let me know down in the comments. And I might get rid of perks and hire you instead as my astrophysicist aboard. The anomaly is a strange sight, an undulating non-Euclidean geometry within an energy field. It is so striking it takes the team a minute to register a second, smaller object sheltering beneath it. The lower object is in good condition. Closer inspection of the probe shows it was placed recently to monitor the strange artifact or phenomenon above it. So we take the probe, but we can't do much about the floaty circly thing. From analysing the incoming debris, I think this is what our own universe would have ended up like if early conditions were slightly less smooth. An uneven universe. Is that like all the mass is globbed up together and so it's made a large star? Is that what they're implying? So we go back through the wormhole. That was a short foray. At least we know we now can open wormholes at the expense of destroying a star and its system. Let's have a look at the probe. A storage data device. The probe uses a highly compact data storage mechanism. We'll need Solano's engineering to extract all of it. Okay. Good job, Dactor. Oh, Alethea's coming out to see us. Let's see what they want. While you were investigating the Starlands, we detected a long-range Devout transmission. It was encrypted, but we were able to break most of it. The missionaries have identified the location of a Telonian fragment from heretic documents. We believe the location is accessible via the heretic portal near VDR2 gateway. Commander Dolson then provides some gateway coordinates. Lots of science to spend, and we are upgrading our laser systems. Longer range, more power, faster acquisition. We now have access to Reactor Mark III, so we may be able to save a lot of space in our ship and change it for more weaponry. One Mark III generator produces a little bit more power than two Mark II generators for the cost of one less hex. So we are going to be able to save about 5 hexes by removing the Mark IIs. We can put them all behind the Citadel, or the bulkhead, and we have no more power plants on the wing, which will make the ship much more reliable. We won't lose power if we take strikes through in that little gap between the wings. But overall, I think we've got a very, very solid ship design that won't need much more optimization before we head on. Commodore Yu says that he read Lieutenant Avery's summary of our investigation into the Starlands and the wormhole it created. It's a disappointing fact that it didn't reopen our wormhole, but this confirms the theory that the Starlands is how remnants stabilize the wormholes. The primary objective remains to investigate remnant artifacts associated with wormhole manipulation. I don't want to contradict the Commodore, but he may have overstated my case. I simply noted there were structural similarities between the Starlands and Starcom's stabilizers. So we are going to follow up on Commander Dolson's lead of the gateway that she detected from the Devout transmission, and we will head over there. We have to use one of the heretic portals to get to our destination. Well, let's activate it with our special key. Green Nebula, far to the galactic southwest. Uh-oh. We've got ships on the scanner. Greetings, false prophet. The fragment you seek was removed long ago. Our missive was false. We have redirected your blasphemous hell portal here. Your time is at an end. I offer you a final opportunity to clear your conscience before taking the blessing upon yourself. Reveal your true form and reveal where the rest of the pieces are. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Denials are of no use. We have seen you scour the old academies and your abandoned haunts for lost relics left behind. You possess the secret key to the blasphemous hell portals. Deception is in your nature, but it will not save you. Your vessels are powerful, but ours grow stronger by the day, thanks to the revelations of our belief. Soon all of your kind will join the heretics in death. Okay, bro. We've got new weapon systems. Activating our defenses. We want to weed out all the small ships. And the Dactor is about to hold its first lecture. Lessons on fucking with terror. Hosted by Commander Tyrael. Awkward silences. The bridge crew are like, okay, bro. Let's just concentrate on our job, defending the ship. But if a guy wants to throw a religious litany at me, I'm going to throw one back at him. And if we don't have an emperor, we should get one. Well, that's the end of them. Looks like the Goria jumped in to help us. Just in case we didn't have a competent ship when you activate that story byte. Oh, wow. I think that's an EMP. Our ship just took a lot of systems damage. Just aim for the reactor. Be careful of our defense system. One of our Void Scouts intercepted a Devout message that they found unusual. By the time they communicated with your vessels, you had already departed, so we decided to follow in case you needed assistance. Well, thanks for the help. We are no friends of the Devout, and we have found the information you have shared with us most valuable. It is in our interest to keep working together. We will watch this sector, in case the Devout follow. Yeah, okay. We've got one enemy station to destroy, and then we should move on. Abandoned mining hulk gradually sinking into a collapsing open pit. Judging by the corrosion of the metal and the slag pile radiating from it, Perks estimates this operation was abandoned recently, perhaps even last year. There are some refined ore behind. Copper, yttrium and platinum. Yttrium is good for weapons, platinum is good for selling, copper is good for bribing the Emir with. Flat landscape provides little cover, so the team is forced to reconnoiter from a nearby peak. The telltale architecture of a prison transcends cultural boundaries. Judging from the distinctive markings on the guards, this is a devout prison. We failed the roll, but still they didn't care because the Devout didn't think anyone would break into a prison. They assumed the lander was a batch of new convicts. In any case, by the time they react, the lander is within stun weapons range. Triton interviews the prisoners and determines that most of the indoctrination criminals who have actively tried to resist the Devout's conversion. A few are relatives held to ensure cooperation and high-value individuals. It is from this last group that the team learns the most. The Devout's methods of indoctrination seem to work by focusing on certain power groups with bespoke conversion routines. Once these groups are converted, the overall culture is shifted to one of a learned helplessness. The prisoners thank the team profusely and use the Devout's gifts to escape. We've got an unusual asteroid field here. It's quite far from the star. This asteroid, they're unusually dense, and I'm detecting some quantities of technology fragments within. It seems there are multiple clouds spread out between two stars. So we're heading to the other star. It's quite a distance to travel. So I've decided to come back to the Flinger. I'm going to leave the investigation of those clouds until later. We will choose the fastest option for now. It's quite a long way to travel via Flinger. I'm hoping there's one that sends us back up to that other star. We have hostiles. Jararai. More Devout ships. Slightly different design. It didn't last long, that's for sure. We have fighters inbound. We have a new fire mode for our Havoc defense system as well. You may have seen a different circular array of missiles. That was our new mode. It's an offensive mode for the Havoc. Our lasers are just cutting right through the hull of this station. It doesn't care. We're looking for that juicy core. It doesn't matter that they have shields because we just overwhelmed them. Survey team away. Heavy drill lasers create dense clouds of dust and smoke visible from several kilometers away. Once the team reaches a high vantage point on foot, it becomes clear that this is an open pit mining operation, largely automated. There are some dudes around. The attack catches the defenders completely by surprise, and the team uses stun projectiles to disable the guards before they can react, and the remaining workers quickly surrender. It seems that many of the workers, despite the markings on their suits, were not really given much choice. With the threat cleared, the team helped themselves to resources. It seems like there's large-scale archaeology going on in these systems here. They're looking for something. Maybe it's their homeworlds. An old but otherwise fully intact lander sits amidst a boulder field. After cautious approach, Cygnus Lee concludes that it doesn't appear to be a trap. We found a log, rough terrain, and we will proceed north on foot to the Devout meeting location. Even if Zill tries to renegotiate, half the promised bounty for the chariot will set us up nicely. We have adhered to their conditions of secrecy, so he will have no cause to shoot us on their account. Short us on their account. But it seems like they were in fact killed. Whatever they sold the Devout got them killed. Okay. This vessel has a few armaments and a fair amount of cargo space, as well as work and research areas. The ship's logs have been purged, but not destructively. Some entries are recoverable. It's in a bad shape. Life support was still functional, and there was a massive explosion apparently. Been extracting cores from the wreck to transport to... I am disappointed that this discovery was credited to Monad Gir. Within the Arcadian vault, found the memory. Meeting point in 30 cycles. Transferring command to Acolyte Dryad while I convey artifacts to the Monad. Are these... Maybe these were the guys that were selling those dudes that were in the grave. And their ship exploded. If you want to find out more, make sure you check in next time for Starcom Unknown Space. I am Commander Tyrael. See you then.